Sorry, I got a little late today, but anyway, few of you will be still here with you. I just wanted to share with you that this evening, I would rather dwell on a very unique finding of the neuroscience, a unique finding of the neuroscience, the world which basically dwells on the brain, the human mind, our thoughts, how our brain works, how our thoughts create its own energy field, and more importantly, how our thoughts influence our bioatmosphere. That means inside our body, how it influences the bioatmosphere, the inner biology, how the cells respond, how the cells function in coordination with our thoughts. But so far we thought it possibly only does that to our body, to ourselves. So it's okay. But now the scientific finding is this, that we are not just thinking inside our skull. This is something very amazing. They find that it's more like an energy field around our head. So if at this point of time I'm thinking, so it's not that I'm thinking inside in the brain and thoughts are there. So I am thinking and staying in a closed place. This is my thought. But now it is the wonderful part of it is what I shared this morning's insight is that the science, I'm always very curious to know how the modern science is developing toward that metaphysical wisdom which the rishis and seers of our Vedic culture, the Sanatana Dharma, how they match, kind of. So here it is, they find that the thoughts, instead of putting the catheters here and then studying the brain and its vibration in the computers, they are just seeing that they can have the catheters over here, not here, not here, not here, not here. In order to study the different part of the brain, when I'm thinking some thought, let's say I'm thinking something about a failure, and hence there is a lot of pain, agony, suffering, and anxieties. Flip. Let's say I'm thinking about something that I have been striving for so long, and finally I got it, and I'm happy. I have it. So it's like a beautiful feeling of accomplishment, success, fulfillment of whatever. And obviously you'll agree with me that the brain will start to accordingly activate those areas which are basically would release a lot of happy hormones and accordingly flood my body with happiness, and I'll have feelings of happiness. But the modern science says that you create a field around your head. So it's here, the thoughts are here, not inside. Isn't it some amazing thing? So it's like that wherever you are thinking, but you are also thinking in an energy field. That is the point. That we have an energy field around our body, around our head. And this energy field around our head, that means our thoughts are going beyond our skull, beyond our head. It's outside, it's in a field. Now, my point is, if that is the truth, then you just imagine that all of us simultaneously are doing two things with our thoughts. See how from the early childhood we have just been thinking, this is my thought, this is my world, this is the way I go and all that. But no, it's true your thoughts are shaping your own destiny. It's true your thoughts are shaping your future. It's true that you are what you think. All these are accepted. But more precisely today, what really makes me feel so much responsible as a person in this world, that even in a space where you are in a family, or you are in a workplace, or you are in a social gathering, wherever you are, your thoughts, even if you are absolutely quiet, you are not talking to anybody, you are in your own home and you are sitting somewhere, and you know very well that even if you sit quietly, your mind is not quiet. You are thinking. So when you are thinking, what thoughts are you thinking? That is the most important part. What thoughts are you thinking? Now, you basically think those thoughts, which obviously are to relate to certain past experiences of yours vis-a-vis what your present circumstances demand you to think, because your present is the time when you are facing your world. But you are not aware about the present moment, because your thoughts are influenced directly by your past events, past memories, past remembrances. So they are all stuffed into your subconscious brain. So 95% of the time throughout the day, 95% of the time throughout the day, you are basically thinking those thoughts. At some point of time, you must have some connection to some past events, experiences, thoughts, circumstances, situations. So here you find that you hardly have any liberty to think something which you would love to think. A situation happens, and you thought that you never wanted to be angry, you never wanted to be aggressive, you never wanted to hurt anybody, you never wanted to displease anybody with your words. So you accordingly managed your thoughts, you accordingly were thinking, but suddenly you find that situation is such that you have become very reactive. Now this reaction comes from your past. This is your memory. In your memory, there is one thing, certain things which you like and you think sane and right, or there are certain things which you do not appreciate, you do not like, and you are not ready to stand those. Accordingly, what happens when such a thing happens? Your anger button is triggered, and automatically you manifest anger. Now this anger now is a thought, but expressed in words, so anger is manifest. My point is this, that the the only thing that we all need to keep in mind is that our thoughts are not only influencing our inner body, that is our cellular body, our inner biology, but at the same time inner pathology, but at the same time it is continuously influencing those who are around us. So if the mother of the family is down with some deep hurt feeling of negative emotion and not very happy about certain situations and circumstances which are happening, if she's down and low in her energy, whatever way, whatever thought she's thinking in her head, maybe she's not communicating to anybody, maybe she's not talking to anybody, but if there are children playing in the room, if there are child anywhere, so you are basically sending your thought vibration, because as I said, you are not just thinking in your skull, but you are also thinking as a energy field of consciousness in and around your head. Obviously, the ripples go and touch those who are around. So naturally, the child with its brain, she or he, if he or she is young, then obviously they are readily receiving your vibration into their brain. So obviously, if you are positively thinking, you are positively influencing everybody in your family. But if your thoughts are negative, you are negatively influencing the members of your family. You are negatively impacting the brains, their thought processes, their feelings, their emotions also are getting affected because of your emotions, your feelings, your mood, your words, and the aura around your head, the aura around your body is directly influencing others. So, my point is very simple. It is not that it is just your biology, it's not that it is your pathology, it's not that how good you live or how bad you live. The worst part of it is that we individuals today have come to realize that if there is one corona positive in a family, if there's one corona positive in a family, the whole family is in an utter scare. That means that every other members of the family, they know today or tomorrow will be infected with the coronavirus. So if they go for a test, they'll find that all the 5 other members of the family, they too are all positive. But it all started with one person who showed some symptoms of corona and then was finally checked and then was found positive, and obviously either quarantined or asked to stay at home. But those people who are around, they also start to get the infection and accordingly get corona positive. Now, the coronavirus cannot be seen, but it is there. It is there. In the same tone, let us never forget, our thoughts are very much like that invisible, powerful virus if it is negative. Our thoughts are invisible vibrations of energies, and these vibrations are continuously impacting, affecting not just the people around us. It's impacting and affecting all the people in the world because we are in that particular atmosphere where, as it is said, that even a butterfly in Amazon rainforest, if she flutters her wings in Amazon rainforest, a butterfly just flutters its wings and there is an earthquake in another part of the world. The scientists tell us this is a effect, butterfly effect, where a butterfly flutters here in Amazon and in another part of the world it impacts. There could be a natural disaster. The whole biosphere, the whole biodiversity, the whole universe is absolutely working in perfect symphony. It is just kind of a coordinated. It is just as if everything depends upon the other, as if everything is connected to the other. But just look at it. Individually, we don't feel that. As a result, what happens? Individually, we are so bothered about our own individual self. We are so bothered about our individual self. And at times become so selfish that we don't care what the others could feel. We don't even care that our words could hurt another heart badly. We don't know. We are so unconscious about our own behavior. We are so unconscious about our words. We are so unconscious about our thoughts that we are directly or indirectly, knowingly or indirectly, just as there are many positive corona people around in the marketplace, and you go there, you don't even know it, but that person stands by your side. Maybe out of that, there is some kind of a transmission, and you get back home positive. My point is, this is all an invisible world where these kind of transmissions are happening. But when it is corona, we give it a huge status in our brain, in our mind, in our thoughts, in everything. Oh, but when will that day come? That's my very serious question I'm asking. Very serious question I'm asking. When will that day come? When you and I will take responsibility of our thoughts. I'm not talking about take responsibility of our life. It's a huge, big stuff. I'm just talking about a very simple thing. When will we individually and collectively take responsibility, just as we take responsibility of a child once we have given birth to a child? Once you take care of your spouse when you are married and you are a family person today, you take responsibility of your parents if they are no longer are in a position to earn for themselves. These are certain responsibilities, financial or otherwise. Just as you try to take the responsibility of various natures, when will the world come to that state wherein we will hear the words of science? We will hear the words of the scientists who are working on the brains and the scientists who are working on our cells, the brain cells and the body cells, the different organs that are working in our body. So once we understand the science, modern science of quantum physics or biology or cellular sciences or DNA sciences, genetics, epigenetics for that matter, where our thoughts directly are impacting our DNA. And now the neuroscientists know, the psychologists all over the world are studying this. What? They know that our thoughts are so powerful. Our thoughts are so infinitely powerful that it can completely transform our body. It can even change our body, because those people who sit and meditate for certain longer hours, and they have been doing it for a longer period of time, when their brains are studied, someone who has been meditating for 7 days, they study their brain. Someone who has been meditating for a month, they study their brain. Someone who has been meditating for about 10 years, they study their brains. Now they see that by thoughts, when we are meditating, as our brain activities slow down, and those people who are meditating, let us say, on a wonderful ideal of compassion meditation, when I'm just activating the compassion part of my brain through my loving compassion that I start releasing from my body through my energy field all over the world to all species of life. Imagine I'm sitting quiet, and here I'm feeling in my heart the pain and agony which others are going through all over the world, as if it is happening to my own mother. If I see my own mother whom I love so much, if I see my own spouse, if I love so much, if I see my own children, if I love so much, if they're in sufferance, how deeply it impacts us. In the same tone, your family is perfectly doing good. You are very healthy and you are doing perfectly good financially and otherwise. Everything is going good, good, good. But as you have evolved through your meditation, you'll find your brain only doesn't slow down. You not only get out of the poison of stress, anxieties, and depression. It's not true that you only get out of all this negative stuff. More precisely, what happens is that anger dissolves. And the stuff that is anger, the energy that is anger, that was there with me. But over a period of time, as you meditate and practice more of this compassionate thoughts in your mind, gradually and gradually, your energy that is to be anger and frustration previously, now as you meditate over a period of time, from inside, over a period of time, please try to note this fact, over a period of time, because this is not an instant coffee. So over a period of time, your breathing is more and more refined. Your breathing is your prana, and the pranic vibrations inside your body also gradually changes. As the pranic vibrations of your body changes, so also the mind inside, that means the mind body, the manomaya kosha, also goes through a subtle changes slowly and gradually over a period of time. But most importantly, as I was telling you, scientists find that even the structure of the gross material structure of the brain, that also changes. So it's not that, it is not that somebody is claiming if you do meditation every day, you are out of stress. If you do meditation every day, then you will become healthy. If you are meditation every day, then you will always automatically become, more compassionate, more loving, more forgiving. These are words. But now the beauty is this: all of it is proved by the scientific investigation of our gross brain. So if I continuously think inside deeply anything over a long period, automatically our brain structure changes. This is absolutely the most fascinating thing, that not only fascinates me, but at the same time it makes me feel that I should harp on this, I should talk on this again and again and again to everyone in this world, as many scientists and psychologists and spiritual seekers and teachers are sharing from every other platform in the world. Because now it's a time when all of us put together, those who are thinkers, philosophers, spiritual practitioners, yoga practitioners, meditation practitioners, they all need to join their hearts and hands and minds together to create another counter power, a positive counter power, so that the vibrations of your head, the vibrations of your thoughts, the vibrations of your brain just spreads and spills over all over the world and connect and create a coherent, connected, huge energy field all over the world, which gradually will create an anti-force. Like when you are infected, you take antibiotic, you go for antibiotic, it's an anti. In the same manner, if there is so much negativism which everybody will question every time I come, Baba, it's okay, I can, I can try to live properly, but I don't understand how to manage these negative people around. And there are such horrible negative people around you that they need a change, but they are in your life. And they continuously impact your brain, they're continuously impacting your biology, they're continuously impacting your cellular structure of the body, because every time you're infected by their infectious thoughts, negative thoughts, your whole feeling of the body changes and your cells are not very happy. And know for sure, unhappy cells means unhealthy body. You will today or tomorrow manifest some kind of disease for sure. But if you have healthy inner environment, which is only possible, provided you think without any thoughts of jealousy, so that you think without any feeling of anger, aggression. When you are thinking thoughts without the sting of the scorpion of anxieties, when you're thinking, something which basically brings about a positive vibrations of love, of harmony, of peace, of understanding, of sympathy, of empathy, until as we go to that phase, it is difficult. How else you can influence the negative people to change and come your way, so that your world also becomes a better world, and you both can together create a better world for all of us to live. So here you can't force anybody else to follow your way. Nobody will understand you. If you say, why don't you practice meditation? They'll say, sorry, I have no time. And even if I sit for meditation, it doesn't make any sense to me. I would rather do some practical good work for some good people. What's all this? Sitting, why? Do you think it's going to change? Fine. But they don't understand one thing. You can do good, but the ego that you will continuously have inside of you, that you are doing good, even that ego could, at some point of time, create hellfire inside of you. So it's very, very important how you become the true mentor of your own mind, your own thoughts. If you don't take responsibility, no one else can take responsibility to change your world. Your world is your thought. Your world is your mind. Your world is your heart. Your world is your body, mind, heart, your breaths. You have to take care of it. No one else can take care of it. So you can be rest assured from childhood, all must gradually grow in such an atmosphere where the parents would not be just telling their kids, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, do this, do this, do this. Most often parents get addicted to the word don't. And the children get addicted to an experience or feeling, oh my goodness, again the music has started. They don't care what you say, to be very frank. They don't care. Anything that you talk in a negative term again and again and again, that negative words of yours creates no impact on the person for whom it is meant. Take it from me. Take it from me. If you say anything negative to anyone again and again and again, if you tell a child, you are just useless, you are just useless, you are just useless, over a period of time, even the most potentially talented, gifted child will become dumb. It will have no impact positively because it will penetrate into the brain and create all mess. The child will become a stubborn child. So the important thing, why I'm just relating with a child, is this. I consider my body, my thoughts, my brain, my heart, my cells, everything I consider as my child. I've shared this again and again with all of you. None of you take your body as your child. None of you take your mind as your child. Because if you would have taken your body as your own child, you would have nurtured it. You would have kept hugging the child. That's your body. You always want somebody else to do it for you. And then you find meaning of some purpose of life. Your purpose of life comes only from outsiders. What others are doing to you. Are they appreciating your look, your body, your glamour, your garments that you're wearing? Others' reaction to you and your life and your patterns. That's exactly where we have gone wrong. We have gone wrong there. So all our efforts are only to impress others or to imitate others. All our efforts are to impress others and imitate others. And as long as we are able to impress others, and we find reactions and responses from them in words of appreciation, like in a Facebook post, if there are many likes, you find really meaning in that. You find so much of happiness inside. And I hear there are many people who are suffering in depression because they don't find enough likes and enough shares and enough of their appreciation happening there. So they feel they're good for nothing. They create many, perversions of the mind in order to attract the attentions of the others. I repeat to all of you today. Let's understand the basic foundational responsibility of understanding this basic thing. that until and unless I have healthy thoughts, I cannot have a healthy body. Until and unless I have happy thoughts, I cannot have a healthy, happy body. And as long as I don't have a healthy, happy body, even if the world loves me, it will make no sense to me, because I'll create hell out of all of that. Mind is a place where you can make hell out of heaven, or heaven out of hell. It's the same mind. Since ultimately, though we all are so dependent on what others are talking about me all the time, even if we are seeing our image on the mirror, even at that point, not many of us can see the image of my own body as me. I'm thinking is fine, but at the same time, how the others will see this. This concept of others, this concept of outside, has possessed so much part of my brain, so much part of my life, so much part of my mind, that I am losing touch with my own responsibility, my own perception and understanding that it is not my spouse will make me happy. It's not my children who will see me when I am dying or I'm in the hospital beds. They will not see me. If I understand this basic thing, I'm independent. That's the reason I'm free, and know it. Only a free person in this world will attract hundreds at the bedside when that person is ever possibly is sick, even for 2 days. Only the person who doesn't depend on others will find the universe coming to help such person through million hands, because that person should have from inside of her heart or his heart a submission or surrender to the higher forces, knowing fully well that I am responsible to acknowledge, to recognize, to accept what God has given me, what God is giving me, what God shall be giving me as I grow. So I grow in awareness, I grow in consciousness, and I just don't grow in age and numbers. As I grow in awareness, as I grow in consciousness, I become more and more independent of what others are thinking, what others are talking about me, what others are in relation to my own inner perception of who I am. So here, more precisely, I am then a very free soul, unaffected by any viruses. And the moment you have your own world, and I'm just going to conclude my talk in a couple of minutes. As we grow, as you grow into that kind of a freedom state, then your energy field, which I started with, that your thoughts creates energy field, and you live in that energy field. Try to understanding your thoughts create an energy field, and you basically inhabit in that energy field. Okay, your house is a house, but that's not where you inhabit. You basically inhabit, you basically live in your thoughts. And if your thoughts are not properly monitored, mentored, if they are not properly taken care, if it is always other related, as I see everywhere. Anybody who talks to me, I have always seen, Baba, it's everything is fine, but, and that but I know what's the next word. Someone must be there who is poking something in his or her brain that can take away all that sense of responsibility to be happy, just by me being free of those influences. So my humble suggestion to you is this. Monica, you were asking me, the point of ego is so important, really. This point of ego It's not only important, Monica, it's not only important. This point of ego is the true starting point of our journey to the world where true peace and happiness prevails. If you don't have ego, you are a vegetable. If you don't have ego, you are useless. If you don't have ego, you can't be Vivekananda. Take it from me. You can't be Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. You'll be a useless person. You have to have ego. But then, the moment that ego becomes so narrowed into the body and gets absolutely sticking to the body, sticking to my idea, I must enjoy the best food. I must enjoy 2,000 different kinds of garments. And there should be a wardrobe full of hundreds and thousands of varieties. Now I am basically my ego is now continuously in a mode of acquiring things only for selfish greed fulfillment. That ego is going to damage. But imagine you have an ego in which you want to serve others. That's not your ego. The moment you are saying that, Baba, I just wanted to join your mission because you do such good work in the slums and you do such a good work in the villages with the women, with the children, with the adolescent girls. We hear and, see so much of work you are doing. Sorry, I'm not doing any work. I'm not doing any work. I'm just trying to facilitate. Work is being done by the universal energies of different elements. You are not doing any work. You are just facilitating. You are just one of the instruments of the many of the elements which are functioning. So my ego here is very simple. My ego is one of facilitator, coordinator. I'm just trying to bring about a coordination so that the coherent energy field from this brain to other brains. So if I'm working with 30 people as volunteers, 50 paid volunteers, then my job is to create that environment among 30 plus 50, 80 people to think alike, to align our thoughts so that the mission, vision is clear in all 80 minds, so that we can go down into the ground level and serve those who don't understand all these big talks of ours. They are not so educated. They don't speak blah blah English. They're right at the ground level. And if we don't hug them, embrace them, uplift them, give them thoughts of hope, positivism, power, empowerment, they will remain beggars for another 10 generations. Mother Teresa is such a great lady, but still, I cannot totally give her all credits. I'm sorry to say this. Because she created thousands of beggars in our country. She fed the beggars and she fed the beggars and she fed the beggars. My point is, by feeding the beggars, you don't drive out beggary from the world. You create more beggars to have those bowls in their hands and stand in a queue of 1,000 who just wait for a loaf of bread or half a kg of milk powder coming from Poland or coming from Germany. What's this? We need to first understand the concept of responsibility, that God has given us this body, God has given us this temple, the body, God has given us this heart, so ultimate gift. God has given us this breaths of prana. God has given us this brain to think how good things that we can do in this world. God has given us the history of all the great Mahajanagataha Sapantha. All the great Mahajana, the great souls have come before us. And they have all told us what to do. It's not that Swami Shuddhaanandaa or Babaji Shuddhaanandaa or Bodhi Shuddhaanandaa will speak about it. No way. Everything is spoken. Everything is told to us. Sanatana Vedic Dharma has set everything in its own perspective. Only thing is that we are more into other things, but we are not trying to understand. Only reading those things by which we understand the perception of our own self-responsibility. The moment you read only those literatures, You read only that kind of spiritual stuff or whatever material stuff you read, which will impact your brain to realize your responsibilities in this world to create your beautiful world. Because it's only when you are having a positive energy field, you are sending forth positive vibrations to million others in this world. So your responsible life is so important for another person's responsible life, because you are sending a positive seed to that person to take a lead and then proceed in that field. And that person, again, like you give a smile to somebody, that person's heart is lit up, and he or she even gives that smile to somebody else. You are sharing a smiling world, but it starts with you. If somebody frowns at you and you also frown at that person, and then both of you frown at the another person who comes to greet you, and three of you greet another person who is there, 4% frowning at each other, doesn't make a very happy world. It is your smile that beget another smile. So the first thing is that understand your responsibility to create a mindset, an energy field which is positive, powerful, empowering, and lot of trust in your inner Atman, in your inner goodness, holiness, purity, because your mind is filled with it. The only thing is that we don't have time to basically allow them to surface to our surface mind, that is conscious mind. We don't allow it. So Madeline writes, we are our own worst enemy, actually. And that's the reason, Madeline, what happened is that I happened to, kind of have a book authored in my name. I feel so bad to say I wrote a book. Yeah, it's such a stupid word. I'm an author. It's such a stupid word. You have neither written a book nor are you an author. Your name is, of course, there as an author. Author is always the universe. Author is always the universe. The universe is your breath, the universe is your mind, the universe is your prana, the universe is your intelligence, the universe is your spiritual self. Just imagine this. The whole universe is working inside of you and with you, through you, manifesting its own mission, its own vision, its own things to happen. So my point is, in that book, I have titled it as Your Mind, Your Best Friend. And another part of the title which goes without visibility, and that is your mind, your worst enemy. And this is exactly what you mentioned here, that we are our worst enemy. But I want to have a correction here, and that is, we are not only our worst enemy, we are our greatest friend, period. We are by our essential, pure, divine nature, we are our best friend in the world. There is no friend in the world who can ever match my mind in a meditative, mindful, prayerful, grateful, loving state. Nobody can match. A million friends put together cannot match the joy of the spirit when you are in a meditative state. If you are a meditator, you know the truth of my statement. I feel it, I experience it, hence I'm sharing it with you. I feel it, I experience it day in, day out. Because this brain now can only download these beautiful, positive, insightful thoughts all the time, because now it is open to the universe, it is open to the Mother Divine and her lotus feet, which this forehead is touching all the time. So that's it. So as long as I'm downloading those beautiful graceful descent of divine vibration, you can communicate, write, do things, but never claim they are yours. So you can't be author, you can't be teacher, you can't be guru. जब कोई बोलते हैं ना, sometimes some people will tell me, Baba, you are like our God, you know, आप तो भगवान है, you are like our God. I said, inside I think, oh my goodness, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. A speck of dust, a speck of dust. Trying to cling to the lotus feet of the mother or the guru, that's all who I am. A speck of dust trying to cling to the lotus feet of the mother or the guru all the time, because I know that as long as that speck of dust, the ego, clings to the mother's feet, the ego will have no fangs. You know, the snake has a fang in which there is a poison. If it bites, somebody dies. So as long this ego is holding fast to the lotus feet of the guru and doing things of the world, anything and everything of the world, it will not have poisonous effect in this world. Otherwise, your ego will spread poisons around. And you are thinking that you are doing good to the world. So in order to sublimate your ego, if you want to transform your ego, don't curse your ego. Your ego is only needing a more loving hug from you. Don't. And by ego, I also mean your mind. Because as long as your ego is there, so long your mind is there, the mind of your thoughts of evil and good. But in deep meditation, both your mind and its thoughts and the ego that sticks to those thoughts, they are all in a state of quiet, silent, and a stable ground where it all comes down to the word silence. Silence. There is no chatterbox there. And everything is quiet. When I say everything is quiet, you know, last year when I went to Michigan, and there I visited one of our wonderful friends' home on a lakeside, the gravel lake. That's Mark Hunter's home, and he is such a wonderful soul, and he and his wife Susan, such beautiful, and they invite me every time. So when I go to that place, and early morning, and I caught up, there's a huge open glass shielded space in their living room, and I just go and stand there and watch the lake. In the morning, it is full of fog and it's totally quiet, and the whole lake is without a slightest ripple, and it's absolutely meditative. I don't have to do anything, just be with the lake and become the lake. This is what it is. I see one question, and possibly I'll now close my talk today. That is, I just saw SUBD. I don't know what is that name. That is, Babaji, when great ones merge with the absolute, do they still remain an element of ego? Shubro. I don't know, you should have written your name properly, whoever you are. And I just want to share this with you. It's a beautiful question. First thing first, this merging with the absolute, this is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. You know what is Nirvikalpa? The mind is always with Sankalpa and Vikalpa. The mind will just now talk inside, I want to go to see something. And next moment, no, no, I'll not go to that place. I'll go to some other place. So sankalpa, I wanted to go there. Vikalpa, no, 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 I'll find something else. The mind wants to always either or kind of a continuous, wavering state. That's what mind is all about. That's the reason people are always in a state of restlessness, because the mind is sankalpa and vikalpatmak. That's what mind is. So we need to understand what's the quality of the mind. Sankalpa and vikalpa. I'm going to do this. No, I don't want to. I want to eat this. No, I don't want to. I want to go there. No, I don't want to go there. I want to meditate. No, not today, tomorrow. This is mind. Sankalpa and vikalpa. Ichha and aniccha. This is mind. Now, yogis, through their deepest practice of their mind, thoughts, prana, and the psyche, and their spiritual self, over a long period of true surrender and true dedication and devotion, they can uplift the mind from all the morass of the mirage of all this false fake world and false fake people around, and all their appreciations and depreciations of distrust and trust. All this drama is over. Now the yogi lifts the mind, and there the yogi is in a state of equilibrium. Neither this nor that, neither sankalpa nor vikalpa. When the yogi transcends the mind, try to understand this, please, all of you, please understand this. It's a very good question asked, and I am just straight away coming to this answer so that you can have it in your heart and you can share it with anybody who possibly would have this question. When the yogi transcends the mind, that means the yogi is transcending both ichha and aniccha. The yogi is transcending even dharma and adharma. The yogi is transcending all that is defined by the mind. Whatever perception the mind can perceive, whatever perception the cognitive faculty of my brain can, you transcend beyond that. That is called transcendence. Nothing of these worldly definitions can reach there. That is beyond sankalpa and vikalpa, where you have not to say, oh, I wish to eat this, or no, 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 I want to do, oh, I want to say one thing. Sankalpa and vikalpa, and nirvikalpa is a state which is even beyond bhoga and tyaga. Nirvikalpa samadhi is a state where you transcend even your concepts and ideas about bhog and the samsara, and tyag, that is, oh, sannyasa, everything is gone, beyond. In that state, you are merged into the absolute oneness where, I'm sorry, if anyone tries to define that state, it's mistaken. Because that state is beyond mind, beyond intelligence, cannot be refined and done in any spoken words or language. So now, if you reach to that state, your question is, when you reach to that state, then what happens to the ego of that yogi? First thing, as long as there is ego, you cannot reach this state of absolute, period. As long as you have your ego, you know what ego is? Separated self from the one. So as long as you are separate, that's your ego. And as long as your mind, that means sankalpa and vikalpa, you have not touched absolute, but you're still in a deep state of meditation. Your body identification is gone, you have light all around you, and you have absolutely ecstatic, blissful state. Agreed. That doesn't mean that you have touched the absolute. As long as the experiencer is there, who is experiencing? If there is a subtlest strain of that someone who is enjoying this state, then you are not yet gone into nirvikalpa, that is absolute. If nirvikalpa is to be touched, That means you are done with your ego, you are done with your millions of births of sanskaras, you are done with all your philosophies, you are done with all your religions, you are done with all that you learned for ages and centuries and millennia. All your past is burned. All your future is burned. No more past, no more future, nothing remains. Blank. Total emptiness. Beyond definitions, beyond language, beyond human perceptions. That is Nirvikalpa Bhumi. So in that Nirvikalpa Bhumi, what happens is that there are two types of Nirvikalpa yogis. Once they reach to the Nirvikalpa, then they remain in that state, maybe for a couple of years or a couple of 100 years, and be merged in the oneness if that is the wish of the Lord. Second alternative. The second alternative is by the divine will, by God's wish and will, that Nirvikalpa Samadhi state yogi will be gradually coming back to this world. And when they descend to this world, God gives a particular chitta or a mind which is not the previous mind. The previous mind is totally dissolved in the ocean. You cannot find that mind anymore. It's gone into the ocean of consciousness. Now, in order to live in this world, you need an ego. Without that, you cannot live. Every greatest sage in the world, they have to have a touch of ajnana, this body consciousness, in order to be in this earthly plane. Even God, in order to create this world, have to one step down. Even God has to assume ajnana. Then and then alone creation can take place. That is the reason the color of the body of Lord Shiva is Rajata Giriniva. It is not giri, it's not totally white. It's not totally white. There's a Rajat, there's a small little tiny reddish tint in it. You know what's that reddish tint? That's the ego. Raja, that's the Raja Guna, not Sattva Guna. If somebody is in total Sattva Guna, no function can happen. Nothing can happen. Try to understand this. In total Sattva Guna, there is no Srishti. Possibility nahi hai. There is no chance. But if you want to create the world, you have to have a thought. You have to have a thought. What is that thought? Ekam eva bahushyama. I am one. Now I want to be many. Ekam eva avi bahushyama. I'm one, but I'm bored. I'm just joking. I'm saying that one, there is a slight tremor of Raja and a wish desire. And this desire is not your desire, kind of. It's a desire happening to a huge cosmic field of energy of infinite potential beyond your comprehension. You don't try to even think about it. You can never comprehend it. But these are words we are exchanging. Don't think that these words are, you can't ever fathom. It's impossible. Only yogis can have some ideas about it, because until as your intelligence is totally refined of its purged of its impurities, until as your mind is taken all the purging process of detoxification, of decluttering, of taking away all the desires of the world, to live, to be happy, to have even the slightest bit of desire, when all of this washed clean like a slate, then and then there, that cosmic mind of Ishvara can have that ikshana, or that is called, it's not icha, it's ikshana. Ikshana means the wish of the God. And the wish of the God is that I am alone, that is absolute. I repeat, I am alone, that is absolute. beyond mind, beyond intelligence, beyond definitions, beyond words. Nirvikalpa Bhumi. Now, from Nirvikalpa, the yogi is getting down. He's just landing from the space to earth plane, splashing down. Huh? The capsule is coming down. And when the yogi comes down to the body, a new Nirvana Chitta. Nirvana Chitta means a Chitta. A Chitta means the mind. And Nirvana Chitta, a new mind is created. A divine mind is created. The divine mind is not your mind. This divine mind is continuously in tune with the divine, while other minds are continuously in tune with the world. All other human minds are continuously in tune with the world. What's happening to the world? What will happen to the world? What will happen to my family? What will happen to my body? This is the typical mind. But that particular yogi's mind who have gone to that and then descended into the earth plane, avatara, when they have descended to the earth plane, and now they are stamped by the divine to do good to this world by spreading God's message into this world, that no, you are not just a physical body, you are Atman, you can never die, so don't be afraid of death. It has to come from such yogis, because they experience deathless existential reality. When they say those words, it triggers a different kind of vibration, because their brain's vibrations are different. A yogi's brain, a yogi's body, a yogi's cells of the body, they're totally different. Wherever a yogi is, there will be an aura and light all around, and that aura will influence everything there. Even the walls of the room in which a yogi lives, that wall is not the wall of your home, made of mud or made of concrete. The yogi, wherever the yogi lives, that space is vibrating with a different vibration, because everything that is in the brain of the yogi, that cells of the body of the yogi, is emanating a different kind of aura and light. There's no worldliness in it. कौन क्या देगा, किससे मैं बनाऊंगा, कैसे बनाऊंगा, कैसे manipulate करूंगा. All this rubbish thought is not there. There's nothing. There's no demand. There's nothing that he or she needs. All that he or she needs is, when will people understand that they have to assume responsibility of their own happiness? When will people realize the responsibility that no one else can make you unhappy until and unless you have signed an agreement to be unhappy as a contract with that person? That means you've accepted the poison given by somebody and you have had it. Somebody can give you poison, but you can reject. Said, I don't want that poison. So also, when you reject the poisons of negativity given by others by self-will, if you are a yogi, otherwise you'll be infected by COVID. But if you have strong immune system, you will not be infected. People will sneeze around you, cough around you, throw splits on you, but nothing is going to happen to you because you have a strong immune system. So also through yogic process of your own inner transformation, if you can strengthen your immunity of your spirit, body, mind, breath, you are safe. You are one with the divine music of this world. And that is the purpose of our birth on this worldly plane. All of it can happen, provided you agree that you are here on a mission, and that mission is to be an instrument of the divine. I repeat, you are an instrument, nothing more than an instrument. Take your ego out and keep it aside and allow yourself to be recognized in your mind, in your thought, as an instrument of the divine, nothing more. Nimitta matra bhava sabhyasachin. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, don't get so puzzled, Arjuna. Why are you getting so much into all these different thoughts? Just know that you have nothing to do. I have already finished everything. You just have to take your gun, Dave. You just have to take your arrow and shoot, and then just remain absolutely unaffected by what's happening outside. In a way, in one word, he said, Nimitta Matra Bhava. To me, believe me, from Bhagavad Gita, if I've learned one word, I've not read the whole of Bhagavad Gita, but if I've taken one word out of Bhagavad Gita, it is Nimitta Matra Bhava Satya. I have taken that word that he spoke to Arjuna, I have taken that word to my heart. I want to be nimitta. I just want to be an instrument. So anybody telling me, Babaji, you are like God, I smile. If anybody says you are my guru, I smile. If anybody says you are the best sadhu I have ever seen, I smile. But if anybody says you are the worst person I have seen, still I smile, because none of it make any difference. Because essentially, you are just a servant of the Divine Master. You are just the child of the Divine Mother. And as long as the mother wants to keep you in this world, you are in this world. So play the music which she wants you to play. But don't get so entangled with it. Don't get so attached with it. Play impartially, with a sense of dispassion, with a deep passion for mother's love, with a deep passion for compassion in this world, with a deep passion to see a better world, a deep passion to see a better society, a deep passion to see a better environment, Mother Earth. With this word, I take leave of you for today. Until such time we meet again, keep nurturing these thoughts. Think that these thoughts are not contained in your skull. They are around the head, around your brain, all over as thought vibrations. So create positive thoughts and spend it, send it, distribute it, disseminate it, and thereby become an instrument of the divine for the divine mission to happen, to bring peace in this world. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I came late, but we had a wonderful time together, and we'll have more such beautiful times as the days roll by. Om Shanti.